Great. Welcome, everyone. It is Tuesday, July 8th, 2014. This is another OWASP community update. We've got here on the video, my name is Michael Coates. We've got Tobias, we've got Mark, and we're going to give another update on what's going on around the world with OWASP. For those of you that have been following along, we have these periodically, every 2 to 3 to 4 weeks. We follow along on the agenda on the OWASP wiki. And the goal with these little updates is to give some insight into all the different things that are happening across the world. OWASP is far and wide in over 100 countries around the world, nearly 200 plus chapters, and we'll actually dive into the details today. There's a lot of projects going on, a lot of talks, conferences, etc. 30-some thousand people taking in and absorbing OWASP in different ways around the world. So it's nice to chat a little bit about what's going on and draw some attention to some good things. As I mentioned, the agenda is on the OWASP wiki. If you search for community updates, you'll find that main page that has all of the different agendas. And you can dive into today's agenda for July 8th. All right, so let's see here. A few different things, jumping straight away. We've mentioned it the last few updates. The OWASP elections are coming up in a couple months. The link is on the page, but if you want to submit to run for a board position, and most likely a committee position if we have flushed that out in time, which is the goal, all of that information is on that page, so please check that out. Submit your candidacy. Upcoming chapter events. We have a link for the full list of worldwide chapters in the OWASP events calendar. And you'll see that we have 2 events called out here today. In September 2nd, OWASP Israel is doing a security event. It is in the Interdisciplinary Center in Herzliya. I probably said that wrong. More info on the wiki. And on August 1st, there is a USA chapter meeting in Louisville. Most likely a variety of other events going on, but those are a couple that we were able to get on here. And those of you that are leading chapters, continue putting those on the OWASP events calendar, and we'll funnel those in through these updates as well. Wanted to also add a few updates on chapters. Let's see here. We have the link for adding events to the event calendar, instructions for chapter leaders on how to set up those events. Another mention of chapter funds. If you're running a chapter and looking for funding to have pizza, have drinks, get a speaker into town, we have all of those things ready for you. And you may not even know it, but your chapter has funds through members that have joined in the region. And there's a link how to spend that fund and the funding page in the chapter section there. In terms of chapter metrics, pulled in some information from our operations team in the chapter Q2 report. Instructions for chapter leaders on how to events. Another mention of chapter funds. If you're running a chapter and looking for funding to... There we go. We had a bit of an infinite loop on audio. Anyways, chapter updates. So active chapters around the world, over 235 active chapters. We've got 35 chapters that were active at one point, but at the moment are not.
Excuse me, Michael, your video went out, Michael.
Yeah. There we go. Is that better?
No, I'm seeing a big blue wasp. Did you turn your camera off when you muted him?
No, it's okay.
No.
I can see you. It's just going back and forth to the people who are talking.
Oh, he's back now. Okay.
Cool. I'm back. Let's see. Interesting, we broke down chapters by region. And so you can see we've got the largest number of chapters in the United States, but closely followed by both LATAM and Middle East. Europe, number 2 of 56 chapters. So we have a really good distribution of chapters around the world. Pretty interesting to see that, though. Jumping in on conferences, one quick note. We are just a few months away from ABSA USA 2014. That's going to be in Denver. I believe the full agenda was just published with the sessions and talks, so you can click onto the conference page to read about what's coming up there. That should be very exciting. And we've got a few people on to talk about ABSEC EU, which just wrapped up just a couple weeks ago. Lots of good things happened there. So let's turn it over. Tobias, you want to give some feedback, and then we'll jump over to Mark as well?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Michael. Yes, ABSEC EU in Cambridge 2 weeks ago was quite exciting. We had a lot of people coming there. Obviously, not as many as last year in New York, but about 300 people were there. A lot of good energy going on, many interesting talks, including from, actually let me look, because I'm careful that I'm not mispronouncing, from Richard Stallman on freedom issues for websites, which was a surprise talk that we introduced. We already have all the presentations online, so you can actually already see all the talks in case you're interested or curious. So everything's already there. ABSEC EU is worldwide available. We had a very cool dinner event at a, you could call, Harry Potter style Hogwarts University. We took some pictures, but I think we haven't posted them yet, so that might be a nice view regarding Cambridge. I mean, Cambridge has 1,000-year-old university buildings there, so it's quite cool. We had a board summit there, and I think I hand over to Mark for the specifics of one very cool talk, which was Wait, Pawn Me, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah, it was called Wait, Don't Pwn Me. And
don't pawn me. Okay.
You know, I had a good time at that session. That was with Matt Tesoro and Chris Eng and Josh Corman. And it's built around the NPR show in the United States, that it's a news show. And we're able to ask security questions of the panel. And the panel actually plays against the audience. It's kind of fun. I did that in the New York one. I'm hoping I can do it in the Denver one too. So it's getting to be kind of a pattern. You know, you and I talked, Tobias, while we were there too. I did a whole series of interviews, and you were one of those interviews. A couple interesting ones that I picked up with. I hadn't heard of Akin Hoffman before I went there. And he had just introduced his project on scanning SSL connections. And Matt Tesoro was going crazy about it. Jim Manico brought it to my attention. Matt brought it to my attention. So I had an introduction and was able to make him part of that, the OWASP 24/7 podcast series. In addition to you and Akim, I talked to Jerry Hoff. I got to talk to Simon Bennett to get the latest update on ZAP. I talked to Owen Keary about what's going on in his neck of the woods. And an interesting one was Catherine Berlisky. Tobias, did you get to talk to Catherine while she was there?
Yes, absolutely. She was our winner of Women in ABSEC program, which, for the people who may not know it, is actually really cool, because if you are a lady and you are interested in application security, well, we have this program where you can apply and you basically get a sponsored trip to the next ABSEC in your region, and including a ticket. So I think quite inspiring, and I could see this was a really inspired young lady from university. So a chapter now in her university going forward. So who knows? That would be cool.
I thought it was really nice to have her there for two reasons. One is how young she was. When you look at most of the OWASP chapters and the people that are participating, it's a relatively mature crowd. They've been in the industry for a while. So Catherine and I talked quite a bit about the educational process and what you can expect from education and university when it comes to software security. So that interview will go up soon. The other things that I was liked, and I see Adrian dropped out, and that's too bad because it's a compliment for him. I liked the way the vendors were handled at this conference. You know, I've spoken at 150 to 200 conferences, and a lot of times the vendors will be shuffled off to the side as if they're just not even part of the community. In this case, they were actually front and center, and you really got to talk to people about what they were working on. I liked it a lot, a whole lot, the way the whole event was structured that day. Compliment Jonathan on the recordings. They went up within the week, as you mentioned, Tobias, that the recordings are already up. That was awesome. I watched Wait, Wait, Don't Pwn Me again to see what I could do better.
I guess you didn't find many things to improve.
Oh, I did. I'm going to have a good time with it. It's going to get better as we go along. The other thing you mentioned, dinner at Hogwarts. That's what my kids. I've got a 9-year-old and an 11-year-old, and all they want to do is look at the pictures of dinner at Hogwarts. Hi, Adrian. We can hear you typing there. You want to put yourself on mute for a second?
Hi. Yep, can do.
There you go.
Try to.
There we go. So as Tobias was saying too, we've got plenty of pictures that haven't gone up yet. Michael, it would be a nice thing if we had a central location. Right now I was going to put mine up on Facebook or on Flickr, but if there's a central location for ABSA Europe pictures or the events that are coming up, it'd be nice to have a central location for that.
Yeah, so far we collected them. We collected them so far. We haven't uploaded all of them yet. So if you want, you can send me a link and I can combine all of them together. Don't worry.
Okay. Let's see what else. As a first-time ABSA Europe attendee, I really enjoyed it. It was very low-key. A lot of people were there just to hang out and talk. I think that you mentioned Richard Stallman. I think that was a relatively controversial session, the way he was talking. And I appreciate that. I don't like everything to flow really smoothly. So if you've got some kind of controversy there, I like that a bit. So Adrian, I think I'll move over to you and say, first of all, thank you for putting on a wonderful event. And I look forward to coming back again soon.
Thank you very much, Mark. It's much appreciated. You have to excuse me. The headphones are causing a bit of an issue for me, but
that's all right. We got Blair Witch style over
there. I guess, yeah. I think the event went relatively smoothly as a whole. A few little issues here and there, but on the day it seemed to come together. I think people appreciated the majority of keynotes that we had, and I think we had a mixture of research, standards, and industry. I guess you could probably call Richard Stallman a keynote. It wasn't quite designed like that, but it added something to the conference, I think. Majority of the talks were well received. I think we got a good balance for the conference. We had some social events. It's one or two issues with social events here and there, but on the whole, I think people appreciated the conference dinner at Homerton. And yeah, I've had a session with Sarah over what we think go better next time. I appreciate Sarah's leaving, but we've had that discussion, and we've had a handover discussion to Martin as well for next year. So yeah, I think on the whole, we had some. In terms of what probably didn't go so well. We had some technical issues with Wi-Fi, I think, which was sorted in the end. I think all the streaming went well, and that was a first. So that seemed to ticked along nicely. There were some hotel issues and registration issues. I think I would have said that was more staff related and system related than it was actual conference planning, but yeah, but on the whole, and I think the numbers picked up at the end. I think the biggest concern we had was 2.5, 3 weeks ago we had 96 people signed up. So yeah, I think on the whole, it went very well, and I think I haven't had many negative comments. I had a couple, but there were specific issues. Not everyone seemed to come away and enjoy it. So yeah, I think in the end it came off quite well.
And if I
That's
may,
awesome.
if I may add, Adrian, if I may add, this seems to be the classical British understatement and humility. So I would say this was an awesome event, and of course every conference has some minor glitches here and there, but on the whole, this was very well received. People were excited and very happy at the dinner and at the conferences. And actually, I think the key team who made this happen was you and Justin and all the volunteers. So I mean, there were plenty of volunteers from Anglia Ruskin there who helped out. So this, I can appreciate that some things didn't go perfectly well, but you know what? Overall, it went quite good. So don't be too modest.
No, I think we got over everything. There was nothing that wasn't insurmountable. I mean, if we had our time again.
I would
and now we need a lot of sleep.
I would concur with Tobias there. I participated as well, and kudos, to the ABSA EU team. They did a great job. Adrian, you deserve, a nice holiday now. But it was really, really good. I really enjoyed the event from start to finish. So well done, guys.
Yeah. And by the way, speaking of ABSA EU, we already know where the next ABSA EU is going to be. Amsterdam. So if you have no plans yet for next summer, for the next ABSA EU research, will be in Amsterdam in the Netherlands.
And
so,
if you don't know,
actually, I think
if you don't know Martin, you definitely want to be at this one.
yes. And I think they have some interesting social activities planned, and well, Amsterdam is always worth a journey, and I think they had some interesting ideas, even going a little bit, adding a fourth track for management was quite innovative, and it will be interesting to see how this is going to play out. But Amsterdam is very central in Europe, and I think many people from Europe can go there, and maybe even some people from the States will fly over again.
Oh, I'm going to be there. I'm bringing my 9-year-old daughter, and she's bringing her violin, hoping there's going to be a music track.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not sure about that, but we can see whether we make some music projects for it. Okay.
All right, thank you. Back to you, Michael.
Cool. Thanks so much. I mean, everything I've heard about ABSA EU was tremendous, so it sounds like it really did go great. I think it's interesting to watch people that put those things together, and they find every little detail they can to make it better. But in the end, from the outside, from everyone there, it's just an amazing experience. So kudos again to everyone involved. It's a massive undertaking, and for anyone listening that doesn't know, I mean, everything is pretty much volunteer-driven here. We've got our awesome operations team, our small full-time staff, but everything else is volunteers putting in countless hours, just because it's a good thing to do. Let's see. Moving along. What else do we have? Okay, so we've got a section on projects. Plenty of projects with lots of activity. I encourage people to put new and exciting projects in here for mention. Just a few things that I pointed out for this time. In a moment, I'll hand it over to Fabio to talk about an exciting item called Winter Code Sprint. But two other things I wanted to mention. If you haven't heard about it, there's an OWASP Top 10 Internet of Things that came out recently, looking at the security of the impending landslide of Internet-connected devices and what that means for security. I think this is only the beginning of the conversation, but it's very interesting to look at some of the issues that we might see there and what that might mean. A shout out to the project leaders that helped corral that. Daniel Meisler, Craig Smith, Jason Haddix. I tend to butcher names, I apologize. Also, it was mentioned just a bit ago by Mark, but the OSAFT project, another great project to check out related to SSL security, I believe. I want to hand it over to Fabio to talk more about Winter Code Sprint. And again, if you track down the community updates wiki page, all the links for everything we're talking about is in that agenda. So Fabio, tell us more about the Winter Code Sprint.
Hey, thanks, Michael. Right, so Winter Code Sprint, it's an initiative that we discussed with a few project leaders. And the intention is to get in touch with universities or OWASP academic supporters and allow them to participate in different OWASP projects. So the idea is like we as OWASP act as a liaison between project mentors at OWASP and professors at universities. So say there is the last semester kind of project and you're a student and you don't know what to do, you get in touch with OWASP or you get in touch with your university professor. You ask them to get in contact. Like the professor will talk with OWASP and we will give them kind of a sort of project or activity to carry out that will help both ends. Like will kind of progress a project or an initiative in OWASP, and at the same time, it will help you to get those, credits that, as a university student you need, to pass your exams. So it's a win-win situation for the student and for OWASP. And we're really excited about it. I talked with a few project leaders, and we also made contact with some universities, and they are fully on board. So we'll see how it goes. The initiative kicked off. We're going to make an announcement in the next day or so, but the initiative will kick off September 2014 and will run until the end of the, say, academic semester. That means March 2015. So yes, we'll see how it goes.
Very cool. I think, as you were talking about this, one of the neat and exciting things about OWASP as a whole, OWASP is not a group that we sit down and say, this one item is what we're going to do this year, so everybody volunteer time for this one item. In fact, that's actually very challenging to say volunteers to dictate what they do. Instead, OWASP is this platform where people can do amazing things, and this is just another great thing that's come out of this. Fabio and others had this amazing idea and leveraged the platform to make that a reality. So it's really exciting to see what sort of different great ways we can advance application security around the world through these kind of organic grassroots ideas that pop up and then are supported. So I'm pretty excited to see how this goes. Fabio, hopefully we can keep pulling you in on these updates to hear more about how it's progressing. All right, let's see. A couple more items to mention on our agenda here. OWASP committees. So in the governance arena, so to speak, of OWASP, how OWASP is structured, how we get new ideas flowing, how we get people to dive into particular areas to see how we can make it better. We're looking at Committees 2.0, and it's 2.0 because we did committees a few years ago. We got a lot of great benefits out of them. We also found, a few shortcomings of the structure of that system. And so we're looking at that again with a fresh set of eyes. What went well? What didn't go so great that we need to fix? And how can we do that again? And committees, in short, is a way for people to take on different and new responsibilities within OWASP. For example, looking at like chapters or memberships, those kinds of arena, and how do we dive in and help advance those areas with new ideas. And so instead of just sort of throwing a few words up on the board and having a free-for-all, we tried to put some structure around, what would this look like? What kind of ways can you be successful? Where do you need to reach out to other people or other groups for assistance? And so the proposal's been put up, it's been kicked around, got a lot of different feedback and ideas. So what we're asking for is continued feedback from the community, from everyone. And I know a lot of you listening may have seen this already. But just another reminder that we have a couple more days, kind of a soft deadline for comments. So go ahead and click on that link. It's a Google Doc. You can add comments in line. And if you've never seen it before, never even heard of committees, you're actually a great person to give feedback because you're a fresh set of eyes, and how does it look to you, from a first read? And if you've been involved for many years and seen this many times, those little details that you've seen that can help make this more successful would be really great to have in there as well. So we have Josh Sokol. He's coordinating this, but it's really powerful from everyone's input, so please do contribute ideas there. We've got a standing section for the OWASP Wiki, a section for pages that need attention. I hope we can get people to add into this in the future, but if you see a page that might be outdated, need a little bit of love, let's throw that up there and corral people around that want to help. We've got a link for basic tips on the wiki, how to edit, keep things somewhat organized. If you look at the wiki and it just drives you crazy because you want to organize it even more, we've got a cleanup crew, the wiki cleanup page, and there's a mailing list for wiki editors, so please join that. A couple announcements from the foundation that we mentioned last time. There is an OWASP merchandise page, so if you have an event coming up, you're running a chapter, or you just want to buy a OWASP mug, I can bring mine next time, there's a page for how to do that. And if you're looking for funding, maybe you want to bring a speaker in, maybe you have a great idea and you want to go down to the university nearby and you need a little bit of funding to do something in that space, there's a whole page on how to get funding for OWASP-related items to support the mission. Part of what we do is raise money to advance the mission, and we want to be able to spend and use that money wherever we have good opportunities to make advancements. That's everything we have on the community update today for July 8th. We will see everyone again in 2 to 4 weeks, depending on when that next one happens. We'll get that on the page as well. Please do send ideas, send feedback, tweet this video around, send it to your friends. We're all here fighting the good fight, volunteering to help advance application security, and we really appreciate everyone who contributes their time and efforts. Thanks everyone on the call and everyone that's listening in the interwebs. We'll see you again soon. Take care.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.